Up as game number 3 was Outward on the PS4 and was suggested by Uncle Benny. I was specifically told it was better in co-op, so this is what I did, and why I've had to do things a little differently with this one, but we'll get to that soon enough. I knew absolutely nothing about this game when it was added to the wheel, but when I looked up a couple of trailers I was excited to play it. It reminded me of a little Fable-looking RPG adventure. I can't begin to explain how far from the truth that actually is. It turns out this is a very hardcore survival RPG, which includes all the lovely mechanics such as keeping an eye on your hunger, energy and water consumption. I would have loved to have known this going in. As starting up the game, you don't get any tutorial like I was expecting. This doesn't mean there isn't one, you just have to select it from the title menu beforehand. I didn't do this. I roped the girlfriend into playing this one, so we both went in blind, and to be honest, our constant failures at the simplest of tasks was actually hilarious. We played for a few hours and died continuously of a number of diseases, dehydration, and at the hands of the most basic of foes. We had no idea what we were doing or where we were going. The game does have a map, but it doesn't seem to actually do much. It seems like you have to actually look at the game's signposts or the terrain to actually take a stab at working out where in the world you are. You can put pins on the map, but these seem pretty pointless, as they don't appear anywhere when you close the map to help you out. You also only get one map. If you're playing in co-op and bring it up, it covers the entire screen, which is annoying. We thought, don't worry, we'll work all this out, and kept playing. This is where we found it actually difficult to either find quests or keep track of what you're supposed to be doing. At the beginning of the game, you need to pay off a debt to keep your house. It did say to do this within something like 5 days. Well, I wasn't keeping track of this, and I didn't expect it to be so literal, so we lost our house, and whenever we needed to sleep, we had to go sleep at the inn. This meant we had no money for weapons or armour. Don't worry, we couldn't even work out how to get this stuff anyway, so hoarding silver wasn't really going to help us. So we decided to go out into the wild to hunt for things, to just be killed by everything we ran into. You would think if you died, it would just reload your save. Nope, not in this. It puts you into random caves with wolves or bandit camps, depending what's killed you. From here you're tasked to escape, which is pretty easy, but when you appear on the map, you don't know where you are. As I said, there's no markers on the map. The map is feckin' useless. It also strips you of all your belongings, which you're supposed to recover. Another thing I didn't realise, and then spent the next few hours wandering around naked with only a dagger to protect myself. This meant it was hard for me to carry anything, so I was perpetually over-encumbered and walking at a snail's pace. I do like a walking sim, but not like this. Around this time I also learnt you have to purchase different bags to actually carry anything of weight. Sounds normal. You even do this in games like Zelda to carry more. But here there's also a button on the controller which makes you drop your bag. This is apparently to make you more nimble for fighting. Well, I didn't know this until it was too late, and lost everything yet again. Even with all this though, we somehow scraped our way to the second area of the game. Completely unprepared, I must add. And this is as far as we've got. This isn't a game I'm going to be sitting here saying I've beat, but I'm not giving up. Where this is being played in co-op, it's hard for us to get time to sit down and play it together, so I may periodically update the outward progress in upcoming videos, if I can ever make any. I have since watched beginner's guides on how you're meant to play the game, and it really was going over my head. It relies on a lot of knowledge of stats and items, and this isn't something I'm any good at. I'm the kind of guy who sticks with the same gun all the way through Borderlands, as comparing stats just gets annoying quickly. Also, if every metric of a weapon isn't an improvement, I usually don't pick them up. I don't do nuance. Do I recommend this game? No, it was only fun as we were playing in co-op, and laughing at each other's failures was entertaining. If I played through this on my own, I probably would have got further as I would have just used a guide the whole way through, but this wouldn't have been enjoyable in the slightest, and I'm glad I tried it out the way I did. For now, I'm going to put this one down as a failure for this challenge, but I'm not done with it yet. Thank you for this one. It was hours of pure pain. Since I can't be playing this all the time, I spun the wheel again to get a game I could play single player alongside it. So what did I get? Hopefully I've explained why I'm spinning this again so soon. I imagine I would. I wouldn't just randomly put this into a video, would I? Yeah, basically I need a companion game, something I can play in single player to run alongside a game I'm playing co-op, and a game that I'm probably going to struggle like hell with. But we'll see what we can do. Let's shuffle this up and see what we get as a companion game. Suspense is killing me. What we got? Rage 2 on the Xbox or PS4. I do have that. Okay, so I needed a game to play alongside Outward, so spinning again got me Rage 2. This was a recommendation from user TJ6212, TJ6212, TJ6212. I don't know how you say it. This is a game I already own on the Xbox One. I have it sealed somewhere, but I didn't have space to install it on the Series X, and I saw that it was available on PS Plus, so I just decided to play the PS4 version because, you know, I'm lazy. I've dabbled in Rage 1 on the Xbox 360 before, but while I didn't get far into it on my own tag, I did play it back in the day with a friend round his house, but I was dropping in and out, so I wasn't super invested. All I remember about it is it having John Goodman in it. Why that bit of information sticks in my mind, I'll never know. Anyway, so what does Rage 2 play like? Well, it's what I imagine Borderlands to be like if it was made by Ubisoft. It's a large open world with plenty of things on a map which you just need to clear. The main structure of the game is to meet with these three main characters, do missions for them, then spend time completing open world activities to level up each character's trust to be able to take on their final mission. When all three are done, you'll have all the pieces in place to take on the big baddie of the game. I can't remember too much about the story as it just wasn't that interesting. It's something to do with being the last people alive after the planet was hit by an asteroid and you need to stop some cybernetic man with some clones or something. I think this General Cross guy's also created mutants to do his bidding, but it doesn't really matter what's going on. This is just all a thinly veiled reason just to be shooting things, and this is where the game is actually really fun. I did play through this on easy, so I felt overpowered for pretty much the entire game, but the weapons felt meaty, and being able to chain together shooting, dodging and double jumping with other things such as throwables, like the wing stick boomerang, which you can pop heads with, and as long as you can catch it each time, you can keep using it. And the overdrive ability where basically you unleash rage and become very overpowered for about 20 seconds, and because of all of this being chained together, you won't get bored of popping enemy heads. Most of the open world missions are usually just things like clear out bandit dens, take down large weapon emplacements, defend something, or locate a dead person. But they don't get super repetitive in just one playthrough, as doing enough of these just to see the end of the game isn't a long affair. I had the whole game completed in about 10 hours. I didn't go for the platinum, but I feel I will go back to this one and finish it off down the line. For this you can play the game on the easiest setting, but they have since added a title update which adds trophies for beating the game on Ultra Nightmare difficulty and the permadeath mode called Iron Man, both of which don't sound like much fun to me. There are also 2 DLC expansions, and here is where I find how they went about this a bit weird. These DLC expansions aren't available to just buy on the PlayStation Store. You have to purchase the game's in-game currency and acquire them through the game's walled-off store. I feel this might have been done to avoid randomly being put on sale, but I don't have any proof of this. It took me forever to get into the store as well, as I had to set up a new Bethesda account, as years ago I set one up in another game and I can't remember the login, and it would not send me an email to let me reset the password. When I was finally able to check it out, it does look like the DLC will only cost you about £15. But why this couldn't have just been a normal add-on in the store, I don't know. I do plan on trying these out though, as I've heard you can unlock items that make the Ultra Nightmare playthrough easier. Overall, I was satisfied with how much of the game I played, as I did roll the credits, but I could see it becoming repetitive, clearing everything on the map just to gain resources to be ready for harder playthroughs. Luckily, you can do the Ultra Nightmare difficulty on a New Game Plus. For the price it usually goes for these days, which is under £5, it really is worth a go. And as I said, if you have PS Plus, or Game Pass actually, it's available to play on these too at no extra cost. There isn't much else to say. It's an FPS open world game with satisfying shooting. What's not to like about that? Right, let's spin the wheel again and find out what I'm going to be playing next. Fingers crossed it's something short again. Here goes, time for another spin now that Rage 2 is completed. So we will give it a couple shuffles. Yeah, a couple more. Right, let's give it a spin. What do we get? Come on, what we got? Metal Slug 3. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have this on the Vita. So that is where I'll be playing it. So, awesome. Not sure whose pick this was, but I will put it on screen or somewhere. I'll make someone know whose pick it was. But yeah, awesome. I will... Actually, I think I've got it on the... Is it on the Anthology? On the PSP as well? I've got that. And I think I might have the Wii one. Ooh. I don't know. We'll see. I'll play it on something. We'll find out what one I want to do. Right. Awesome. Time for some Metal Slug.